A lot of people ask me if this extension table on my Grizzly saw makes a good router table, and I always tell them no, because I don't like the way the router mounts, and you got the extra 3/4 thickness, and there's no good inserts for it and stuff like that. So basically, I had my Dewalt little palm router sitting on the saw the other day, and I saw that the base on it was pretty close to the diameter of the hole for the router over there on the extension. So I decided to try something and kind of modify this base so that I could mount it actually into that hole in the saw, just to use for some small breaking edges and stuff like that. So the first thing I did is I took it out on this I've got this old South Bend lathe that is actually older than me, I think, and just kind of took it out there and chucked it in the 3-jaw chuck, and just started taking some thin cuts off the outer diameter of that base to bring it down to the correct diameter to slip through that hole in the tabletop. So you can see I just had to kind of go real light cuts and stuff, because I didn't want to tighten that 3-jaw chuck too tight. So couple passes on it, and I was able to, just start whittling it down, as you can see. So getting close to the size, and just time to take a measurement on it and just see how much more I've got to go, and a couple more thin passes, and basically it's down to the size that I need. Now, this aluminum seems like it's so soft that you could probably even do this on a wood lathe also. So there it is. You can see it's kind of crude looking now. I've taken that outer lip off, and you can see some of the webbing under there and stuff, but that's the diameter it had to be to fit. So then the next thing, it's over to the milling machine, and got to take that. I've got that ring from the Grizzly saw, and I kind of got that in the vise here, and you see I got that digital DRO. I'm just centering that so I can put my holes in there for mounting the router. Now the holes in the bottom of the DWP611 I measured were 61 millimeters square. So basically what I've done is I've just set up on the center of that, and I'm just going to index 30.5 millimeters off to each side in each direction. And the first thing I'm going to do is go back and use a centering drill just to put a little nick in there so that the drill actually doesn't walk when it starts. So it just takes a couple minutes, and having the digital readout there and everything really makes it a simple job, and it really does come out accurate too. I mean, you can just lay it out and center punch and drill holes like this by hand, but it's nice to have a machine to do it on. So I got the center holes, and there you can see as you're moving the table, you can just track it and zero it right into exactly where you want, the 30.5 millimeters in each direction. So first thing you do is you drill the little center holes there, and that's just a drill that gives you an accurate starting point for the that angle on the drill bit. And then just swap over to the drill. And these were M4, they were actually metric threads in the bottom of the Dewalt router, and they were M4 screw, so I just had to drill a clearance hole for that, the 4 of them. And you really want to make sure that these are right on center so that the bits don't hit the insert, and so that everything will slide in there perfect. Yeah, it's pretty cold out here in the pole barn right now, so I actually have the wood stove right next to me fired up so I can stay warm and actually have a way to dry some paint when I get done with this. So it's just a matter of indexing it to the 4 corners, and I like to just give a little spray of lubricant, and then go back and last put some countersinks in the holes. Now the only 90-degree countersink I had was kind of dull, so I did have to go back and do a little grinding to flatten out the face of the plate there. You can see it raised it a little bit, And there's my wood stove. You know, it's getting me warmed up now, and allowed me to just spray a quick coat of paint on both sides of that after I got it done, and sanded down a little bit, and there it is, just drying, waiting to be taken inside. Alright, so here we are, you know, back inside a couple of minutes later, and see how the that plate fits right. Is a new base plate for the router actually now, and it fits right in place. I needed flathead screws, and the only M4 flathead screws that I had were close to 1 inch long, so these are a little bit long, and I'm going to have to go back and cut them off at a point in time, but for now I just put them in there. You can see pretty much they all lined up perfectly, and then it's just a matter of just cranking them down there to hold the base in place tight. So there it is. You know, it's basically just like changing the base plate on the router. I can still use it like this with the smaller cutters, and at the same time I can just drop it in that table extension there, and there you can see it just drops right down through the table and just you know, sits in place there. Now, you don't want to do any heavy routing or anything, but it's more just for like when I'm cutting a piece and I want to just knock a 1/16 of an inch radius off of it, something like that. I see it more as that kind of useful there, because to do any heavy cutting, you'd really have to actually fasten it in place. But this is just using the weight of the router to hold it there. And that adjustment ring on the router actually worked pretty good for raising and lowering it. And you know, you can see it actually does sit 10 thousandths lower than the table, so you know, there's a little gap between the bit and the piece you're routing, but it doesn't seem to bother it. And you know, it just looks like it's going to be handy just for, you know, little tiny bits to break the edge when you're machining some pieces, and you know, you don't want that sharp edge on them. So in the end, it would be nice if this Grizzly saw actually came with a cutout that you could drop a standard router plate into, and you know, use that, but it doesn't, so I don't think it'll ever be a, you know, really good router table the way it is. And there you can see I can't pull the router up through from the bottom because of the power cord sticking out there, but you know, so if you pull it out and drop it in, it does work good, and it's, you know, just good for breaking edges and stuff like that. So I just thought I'd share this video and you know, just show you this little idea I came up with. And it's still, the router still works with that part as the base plate without any other changes, so you can just pop it out and use it. Now, this was the extra base from the Dewalt router on my CNC router anyway, so you know, I'll just probably, you know, leave it in here permanently for little jobs like that. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.